You are listening to or watching She is a Goal Setter with Wendy Shields. If you are a goal setter with a desire to learn from others, you are in the right place. This lake-loving, photo-taking, success-driven, business-owning mother and grandmother would love to walk you through the wins, the losses, the ups, and the downs. We will focus on the real things that will help you meet and achieve your goals while sharing and cheering on others who are with the quest to do the same. Let's get started.
Hi, this is Wendy Shields with She's a Goal Setter, and I'm here today with Shannon McGill, and she's going to tell us about her business, DIAM, and
DIAM, Business Consulting.
Okay.
Okay.
That's okay.
We got this.
Okay. So first of all, why don't you tell us about your business and what that business is?
Of course. So we provide fractional support to small business owners, and what that looks like, big businesses thrive because they've got the right people in the right place, the right skill sets, trained people, right?
Yes.
Small business owners try to do everything themselves. And in the process, they get into something with a passion, they're excited about it, but more than half the time is spent on the business side of things. And they're not skilled a lot of times in those areas. Plus it sucks passion and energy, and it's just an overall, it robs them that freedom
Absolutely.
of what they wanted to get into small business for. So we provide admin, marketing, sales, HR, IT, I'm missing one, accounting services behind small business owners. We build teams, and we have a small business manager on the team there, and we provide those services so that they can go on in what they're passionate about.
That's good. That is good, because I know as a small business owner myself, a few times I felt like I tried to wear a hat that it took me so many of my hours to be able to wear that hat that it would have been cheaper for me to pay somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't do my job that I needed to be doing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Small business owners, their time is super valuable. And when they're in alignment with what's driving that business forward, beautiful. When they are trying to do things they're not skilled at or not passionate about.
Right, exactly.
It is just not a great place to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. So what is your personal definition of success?
My personal definition of success is freedom. And what I mean by that is freedom in our energy and our time and our lives and our passions to do what it is that we want to do and how we want to do it.
I totally agree. I think that's a great definition. So when you decided to build this business, were your goals in writing? How did you handle that?
Yes and no. So when I set goals, I don't do I work backwards,
okay.
right?
Okay.
So when I look at my life, it was a practice that I learned from a coach a long time ago, but I think about myself standing on a stage, and I'm looking out at everyone who's been involved in my life and all of the events that I went through, right? And I go through physical, mental, spiritual, and then financial, social, I'm missing a couple, professional and intellectual. What do I want to have accomplished? When I'm looking out over those people, right, what do I want them to say about me? What do I want to remember at that time? And so that's when I get to 90 or 100 or 110 and I'm standing on that stage, this is what I want to have seen happen in my life.
Right.
So then I break it down, right? Professional is part of that. So when I started to develop this business, I determined, what do I want this business to be known for? I did the same thing, right? 30 years down the line, what do we want this business to be known for?
Absolutely.
And start breaking it down. And so, yes, it is written down, but it's not the stereotypical this equals this at this time. It's more of a story.
Okay.
By year 30, this is what we're going to have achieved. This is how we're going to do it, that kind of thing. By year 25, this is how we're going to. And so it's this story narrative. My brain seems to work better that way.
That's the perfect thing for you.
Yes.
And that's probably the perfect thing for some other people. And I really like it that your way of doing things is different than mine, because not everything works for everybody.
No.
Absolutely not. Yes. So yes, yours are broken down. I was just going to ask you that.
Yeah.
So what do you use to track your schedule?
So, I mean, I use Google Calendar is what I do,
Okay.
and I've got my executive assistant has set up so we know where most of my time is going, right?
Right.
And that's the best way to go about it. But still, even in doing so, I have to be very, very conscious every single week to fit in times to grow the business and to grow my own personal brand and all of that kind of thing, and add that time, because it's so easy to get caught up in working in the business and not on the business.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, continuing to look at those goals and where did I get with those? If that's where I'm going,
Right.
what steps did I take to get there this
Right.
week? Yeah.
Right. That's exactly right.
I've been doing that for years, and I don't know that everybody does that, but I think it's important.
I think so too. Yeah. Well, this morning, I actually did a video on at the beginning of the month. I sit down with my lifelong plan, right, and then my by the age 45, I want to achieve these things, and then okay, so here's where we are. What do I want to do this month? What needs to happen?
Absolutely.
And then review last month, and we go from there.
That's kind of what I do, something similar. I break it down into, I know what I want to achieve for this. I mean, I do have a 5-year plan, then I do have a 3-year plan, but I have obviously
Sure.
have the 12-month plan or whatever. But I break that down. So, okay, what has to happen this month? Then I literally break that down in enough pieces for the weeks.
Sure.
And I know every week, these are the
This is
3
what needs
steps
to
that
happen.
happen, or whatever, 3
Yeah.
or 2 or 1, or depending how complex the step is, you know what I mean? So, yeah, same idea, but
Yeah.
I think that's really important. I think a lot of people get lost there. It seems like, it seems so overwhelming. Yeah.
That is where I came up with the story, because there was a lot of anxiety attached to that for me, because I am not a detail person. So that's where the story. When
Okay.
I get to the end of the month, what do I want to feel? Where do I want to be in this story?
Absolutely,
Right? And it's
absolutely.
easier for my brain to go that way because it's inspired, as opposed to I've got this list of things to do and it's overwhelming.
Oh, I'm check, check, check.
I know. No, I don't like it. I don't like it.
different. Yeah, that's what everybody does it different. Absolutely. What would you say you had to? Some of your biggest sacrifices to get where you are?
It's funny. I tend to be someone who I happen to have a free spirit. I like to just, kind of pick and choose and go how I want, that kind of thing. The biggest sacrifices that I have had to make is reining that in and saying no to things that could be some potential, right, to things in my life, or could make me happy, or that kind of thing. But say no to things and save my time and energy and resources for things that I know are going to further my life.
Okay, wonderful.
And so that, just that area of discipline, it feels at times like it's been a sacrifice, because I've had to shut that part of me down a little bit that is very much like, oh, and let's do this now, and oh, let's do this now, and oh, what about that? What about that? Right?
Yes.
So anyway, yeah.
And thinking you can do it all.
That's
just
exactly
thinking-
right, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. It's like, it's almost comes down to that basic idea of, you always hear everything, when you're reading about these topics, they were talking about, learn to say no, learn to say no.
Right.
And really kind of comes down to that. But sometimes you're saying no to yourself.
Absolutely, yeah.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. What do you do when you're losing consistency?
I am very intrinsically motivated, first of all, but I also am a very social person. So when I start to lose that consistency, I dig back into my why. Why am I doing this? Right? Because sometimes I get lost in everything that's happening, and I lose my connection with that why.
Right.
If I'm still having a hard time, typically that's all it takes, but if I'm still having a hard time, I have a group of friends that are kind of my personal board of directors. And then I have my team and my company. So depending on what it is, I pull the team together, or my friends together, and I'm like, okay, help me think this through. Why am I not here? And often I find out as we're going through, it's not quite the thing that I need to be doing to get me to my ultimate goal, right? And so it's about the task. We can pivot and move and start moving in a better direction.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good way of looking at it. So how long would you say your average workday is?
I'm setting myself up really well as far as, because I've already got the team. That's what we do for other people, right?
Absolutely.
I don't have to do everything. And
Right.
so, but with that being said, we are growing fairly rapidly, and it's one of those things that there are weeks that I work 70 hours a week, but there are other weeks that 2 or 3 hours a day and I'm out, right?
Wow.
So it just, now, with that being said,
Oh, I know.
there are
That's not standard. I know that.
Right.
I know that.
Even that though, there are dinners out, there are social media things, those kinds of things, but even that stuff's playing for me, right?
Right,
I don't
exactly.
consider that necessarily work.
Absolutely.
So it's one of those,
Yes, I understand.
kind of thing.
Well, and when you love being a business person and you love working, sometimes that mixes anyways, because it gets to be, this is what I'm enjoying. I'm doing it. It's my job,
That's
but
the
I'm
thing.
enjoying it.
It's hard to break down.
Yes.
When we're in the place that we are in
Yes.
life, what is actually work and what is actually play, right?
Absolutely. You know how lucky we are to say
Oh
that.
my gosh. Yes. Tuesday, for example, last Tuesday, I went from 4 different restaurants in the Columbus area. I went from Fido to Cap City to Marsala's to Kitchen Social, one after another. Technically, that day, I worked from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. when I finished with the last dinner. Was that really work, though? I mean, come on.
Yeah, exactly. I hear you, absolutely. And I can feel like that, just like I have an hour a day I have to have for education. But I look forward to, I have a long drive, I can put an audiobook in, I can listen to it. I mean, I look forward to that.
Yeah.
Well, it is in my education hour that I require myself.
Yeah, no, I gotcha. I completely
But
understand.
I was able to mix them.
Yes. I love that you do that.
Yeah. Oh my. I hope he does too. That was really just a guy on the roof, not God. Okay. Anyways. Okay. Would you do anything differently?
No, I really wouldn't. I mean, we have challenges, of course. I have challenges personally. I have challenges in business. But the beauty of it is, something that I've really been working on over the last few months, over the last few years, is vulnerability and being able to say, I don't understand.
Okay.
I don't know what to do, right? Please help.
Absolutely.
And I told you about that meeting today. That was I don't understand.
Okay.
Investment. Can you please help me? Right.
Absolutely.
And they were helping me through that process.
Okay.
And so it's a beautiful thing when I've been able to step back and say, you know what, I am the expert in a lot of areas, but I'm really not in a lot of areas.
Absolutely.
And we can come together as a team, whether we're actually a team or not,
Right.
and make each other better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's like my web designer must say, he's a team member, but he's not my employee. He's not,
Right.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or my attorney or my
Yes,
accountant.
they're still on your team.
They're on my team even though they're not my employees.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Same
that's
kind of
exactly
idea.
what it is.
Yeah. Do you think this business will always be part of your life?
I think so. I'm branching out in several different areas at the moment. Speaking, writing, this business, there's some other things that I've got my fingers in. It's one of those things, yes, I always think it'll be part of my life. I don't think I will be as centrally focused on it. Moving forward, we have some pretty aggressive goals and we're pushing towards those, but once we get to a point, there will be people brought in and to kind of run it and do that kind of thing. And we're already starting some of that process now, but yeah, I'll be involved for sure for a while, but at that point, it's there's a lot that I want to accomplish in my life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that. That's great. Just a new question we've been asking everyone. What are your 3 favorite apps you use?
3 favorite apps. Oh geez. My Fitness Pal. I know it's a
Nope.
right.
I use it too.
My Fitness Pal. Audible. That's where I
I do too.
Right, and then probably honestly, iHeartRadio because that's where I get my podcast.
Okay,
So
that's cool.
yeah, I
Yeah.
drive a lot, and that's where I.
That's absolutely. That's me too. That's me too. And my children hate it.
Perfect.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, Shannon, thank you so much
Of
for being
course.
here with us today. We really appreciate you taking your time.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
We're done? Seriously? All that work and we're done? I guess we'll see you next week. Oh yeah, subscribe.